You're going to hate this question, but it might save your retirement. Why do two people who earned similar incomes, saved for decades, and retired at the same age end up in completely different financial realities? One relaxed and wealthy, the other stressed and counting every dollar. It's not luck, it's not intelligence, and it's not how much they saved. It's what they never bought. Because rich retirees don't win by buying better assets. They win by avoiding the wrong ones. And the assets I'm about to show you are quietly destroying millions of retirements while looking perfectly normal from the outside. If you recognize yourself in even one of these, this video could change how your retirement turns out. Let's start with the asset that sounds harmless, responsible, even fun, but has quietly bankrupted more retirees than almost anything else. Timeshares. They're sold as commitment to joy, guaranteed vacations, family memories, a way to lock in travel costs forever.
But wealthy retirees see through the illusion immediately. A timeshare isn't an asset. It's a lifetime bill with a smiling brochure. Once you sign, the fees never stop. Maintenance fees rise every year. Special assessments show up out of nowhere. Exchange fees hit when you want flexibility. And when you're done with it, the resale value is so bad, people literally give them away just to escape.
Rich retirees understand something most people learn too late. Forced commitment is the enemy of freedom. They rent where they want, when they want. They keep their money liquid, flexible, and working rather than trapped in a contract that ages worse than the resort carpet. And that same mistake shows up again, just with a much bigger price tag. Vacation homes. The dream is seductive. A beach house, a mountain cabin, a place where the family gathers every year. It feels like success made physical. But wealthy retirees don't buy feelings. They buy outcomes. They run the math most people avoid. The purchase price is just the beginning. Property taxes never stop. Insurance keeps climbing. Utilities run even when you're not there. Repairs don't care if you're retired. And then there's the silent killer opportunity cost. If you sink $300,000 into a vacation home you use 4 weeks a year, that's $7,500 per week before expenses. And that same $300,000 left invested could fund luxury travel anywhere in the world without tying up your capital. But ownership feels powerful. And feelings are expensive. Usage always drops. Life gets busy, health changes, schedules collide. Suddenly the house sits empty while the bills keep coming. Wealthy retirees flip the script. They rent luxury when it suits them and keep their capital growing the rest of the year. They don't confuse status with security. Then comes the category that's even more dangerous, because it's sold as protection. High-fee annuities. On paper, they sound perfect. Guaranteed income, market protection, peace of mind. But guarantees are never free. Behind the scenes are surrender charges that lock up your money for years. Annual fees layered on top of each other. Riders you pay for whether you need them or not. And liquidity penalties that punish you for accessing your own savings. That's not safety. That's a cage with padded walls. The tragedy is how often these products are mismatched. People with pensions and social security already covering expenses are sold income annuities they don't need. Their real goal is growth or legacy, but their money is locked into slow, expensive contracts designed to convert assets into income. Wealthy retirees don't buy solutions looking for problems. They match tools to goals, and they walk away when something doesn't fit, no matter how safe it sounds. The same confusion happens with another product that pretends to be an investment. Whole life insurance. Used correctly, it can make sense in narrow situations, started young, or for small final expenses. But sold as a retirement strategy later in life, the math collapses. Premiums are high, fees come first, cash value builds slowly, and by the time it starts working, most buyers are already in the years when liquidity matters most. Instead of providing flexibility, it drains cash flow at the exact moment retirees need options. Wealthy retirees keep insurance boring. Protection only. No financial gymnastics. They don't force one product to do two jobs badly. And once insurance is off the table, many people make their next big mistake chasing something that feels real. Rental properties. This is where retirement dreams quietly turn into second jobs. Passive income sounds incredible. Tenants pay the mortgage. Equity grows. Wealth builds while you sleep. Except it doesn't work that way. Vacancies erase months of profit. Repairs arrive at the worst possible times. Taxes rise. Insurance climbs. Tenants call at 3 a.m. And property managers don't remove the stress, they remove the margin. What retirees discover too late is that rental income costs time, attention, energy, the exact things retirement is supposed to give back. Here's the math most landlords never run. If a property ties up $550,000 in equity and produces $15,000 a year after expenses, that's a return you can replicate with far less capital in a diversified portfolio without tenants, toilets, or midnight emergencies. But selling feels like failure. Real estate has emotional gravity. Letting go feels like giving up something valuable, even when the numbers say otherwise. Wealthy retirees don't fall in love with assets. They evaluate them. Every property must justify its existence against alternatives. If it underperforms and steals time, it goes. Next comes a trap that looks conservative but behaves aggressively. High-yield bonds. They promise income, stability, higher returns without stock risk. But the yield is high for a reason. These bonds are issued by companies already in trouble. The interest compensates you for default risk, and defaults spike during recessions exactly when retirees need income the most. The cruel irony is timing. Income looks great when markets are strong. Then the downturn hits. Defaults rise. Income disappears. Losses show up when recovery time is limited. And unlike quality bonds, these require monitoring. Credit ratings change, risks evolve. Selling too late can be catastrophic. Wealthy retirees don't chase yield. They let stocks grow. They let high-quality bonds protect. They let each asset do its job instead of forcing one to be something it isn't. Then there's the category built entirely on confusion. Structured products. They're marketed as best of both worlds solutions. Market upside, downside protection, smart engineering. But complexity is the feature, not the benefit. Fees are buried. Liquidity is restricted. Risks are wrapped in legal language most investors will never fully understand. Here's the rule wealthy retirees live by. If you can't explain how an investment works in 2 minutes, you shouldn't own it, because complexity always favors the seller. Simple, transparent investments don't generate massive commissions. Complicated ones do. And that same conflict shows up in one of the most common retirement account mistakes of all. Actively managed mutual funds. They sound responsible. Professional stock pickers, expertise, oversight. But the data is brutal. Most underperform the market after fees. Not occasionally, consistently. A 1.2% fee feels small until you see what it does over decades. That difference can cost millions, not thousands, by the time you retire. Index strategies aren't exciting, and that's why they work. Lower costs mean more compounding stays in your account. Less trading means fewer taxes, and matching the market beats trying to outsmart it for most investors. Wealthy retirees don't chase brilliance, they protect math. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Many advisors are incentivized to sell what pays them best, not what works best. High-fee funds, annuities, complex products. The recommendation often follows the commission. That's why wealthy retirees care deeply about incentives. Fee-only advice, outcome-driven planning, strategies built around goals, not products. By now, a pattern should be clear. Rich retirees aren't smarter. They're more selective. They avoid assets that lock up capital, drain flexibility, or rely on complexity to justify their existence. Instead, they focus on 4 principles: low cost, clear, tax-efficient, liquid. Their portfolios are boring on purpose. Broad market exposure, high-quality bonds, cash for flexibility, no forced commitments, no yield traps, no financial theater. And the biggest shift isn't financial, it's psychological. They stop buying things that make them feel successful and start choosing things that actually make them wealthy. Every decision runs through the same filter. Does this keep my money working? Does this preserve flexibility? Does this align with my real retirement goals? If the answer is no, they walk away no matter how popular, emotional, or convincing the pitch sounds. Because every dollar tied up in the wrong asset is a dollar not compounding quietly in the background. That beach house isn't just a beach house. It's millions of future dollars you never see. The wealth gap in retirement isn't about income, it's about avoidance. And once you understand what rich retirees never buy, you can start making the same decisions starting today, not someday. Because the most expensive mistake in retirement isn't buying the wrong thing. It's buying what everyone else buys and calling it normal.